On my neck, I just hit a grand slam, different color begins. Running around my cooking hand. When I look in the mirror, I see the motherfucking man.
What it do? It's your boy Lanceamillion. This is another episode of the ClothTalk podcast. I got my man with me right here, Weldon. Hey, what's up, Weldon? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Word up, man. So, let's get it off, man. Let the people know what's up, man. Like, what can we do to let the people know who you are as an artist and as a father, and wrap this up into one song? How can we make the people understand who you are? Like, what would you go to? What's your go-to? That's what I mean.
What's my go-to?
Yeah, what's your go-to? Like,
man, I don't know, man. I'm a man of many acts. I'm a criminal justice reform advocate, former music producer, and a filmmaker.
Okay, so you do films. Okay, dope, man. Hell yeah. So when it comes to this music, like, who's your influences?
Well,
Not to cut you off, but I don't think a lot of people understand, like, when it comes to Weldon, you're like a legend to me, bro. Like, super legend. You know, I always looked up to you. I always, like, I thought I knew you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how close of your case and what you've done for Salt Lake City and the world. Hip-hop, you know what I mean, driven was crazy, man. So before we get into it, this dude is that motherfucking nice. So I appreciate you, and I'm honored to have you on my show. And you came down here, and this is dope. You feel me? So yeah. So okay, let's go back to it. So what was your first break, bro? Like, how did you get this hip hop thing going?
Well, when I was in my early teens, you know, I always wanted to make music. Hip hop appealed to me because, you know, I grew up in housing projects, really poor, single parent. And hip hop actually made poverty not just okay, but popular. So that's what got me into liking hip hop. I have family that are from Tennessee, Nashville, Knoxville, and they were playing jazz and country music. You know, the instrumental, like making music for, you know, famous artists. So I wanted to get music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hip hop was my thing. So I'd say probably when I was about 15, I was traveling to LA a lot.
Dope.
I ended up just meeting some artists, you know, going to studios out there. We were recording out here, but, you know, the production quality wasn't what we were looking for.
Where were you guys recording at? What year was this?
Man, I mean, we started way back
that's
in
what
like
I
92.
Okay, 92, okay.
You know what I'm saying? 92, 93, 94, you know, the Snoop Dogg and all them people, you know, once that started coming out, I was like, I want to make music. So I think it was like 94, we started really writing, trying to record, stuff was coming out horrible, but, you know, we're trying. In 95, I started going to LA. So going to LA, going out to studios out there, and, you know, just started running into people, bumping into people, making connections, befriending people. And next thing you know, I was sleeping on Snoop Dogg's couch, you know, making music, staying in his house till like 5 in the morning, getting beat by his little 6-year-old son at Xbox. Or was it not Xbox? It was NBA Live.
Oh,
I think it was like PlayStation 1. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So I was just starting out, paying attention, watching people in the studio. I started hanging out with like Daz and Corrupt and Napoleon from the Tupac Outlaws became like one of my best friends.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, that's.
And he still is today. He's my brother. Like, he ain't my friend. He's my brother.
That's
so, you know, running with them cats when I was younger, you know, I just started paying attention, listening, learning the industry. Daz taught me how to start an independent record label.
Oh, Daz taught you how to start that?
Yeah, he was leaving Death Row.
Okay.
So when he was leaving, he was starting his own stuff, and he was showing me the game. Like, this is how you do it. You know, you make more money. So, you know, like, all right. So after a few years, I think it was like 98, 99, I started my own record label. At that time, I heard he'd been producing and, you know, recording songs with different artists.
Yeah.
And I actually was working on an album called From the LBC with Snoop. But it wasn't called that at first. We just had a bunch of people from the LBC on there, like, you know, Daz Corrupt, Badass, you know, the East Siders. We had all these people.
Yeah.
And then I went to Snoop's house to do another song, and we came up with this song, From the LBC.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, that became the concept for the album.
So, that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was my bigger break. I mean, I produced the album for Mac Dre. I think it was right when he got out of federal prison. He was in Lompoc, USP, the prison I went to.
Oh, y'all
right after he died. Yeah.
Damn.
I was in the same unit he was in. So I think the first album I put out was the Mac Dre album.
You did the whole album, production.
Me and Big Hollis. We co-produced that album.
Yeah, Big Hollis.
So we co-produced that album for Mac Dre. So That was the first
How
album.
was that experience?
It was awesome. Mac Dre was one of the coolest dudes I ever met. Like,
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, he was.
So you guys were the people that were bringing Mac Dre during the 90s?
He
was out here a lot.
Yeah, he was coming out here on his own accord, and he worked with people. He worked with like Hog Boss and them too.
Okay, so
he worked with different people.
Okay.
But we worked with him as well, and we had a good relationship. And working with him was cool, man. He was, friendly. He let us come in and hang out with the studio. Every time he came out, he'd call me.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, man? I'm out here. What you doing? Just want to check on you.
Right.
I was like, all right, so we were good friends. So after the Mac Dre album, I had these songs put together for the Snoop album. And then once Snoop did that We From the LBC, I'm like, that's it right there. This album's called We From the LBC.
He was at the studio at the
at
doghouse.
Yeah,
Is it the doghouse?
It was a doghouse.
Doghouse, yeah.
In the studio in Claremont, California.
That's when he was with No Limit. Is this?
Yeah, it was like he was No Limit. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the last song we did was called A Little More Dope to Smoke, and then we did a video for that. But that completed the album, and I put it out, went and got a record deal, signed a deal with Bayside. That album was doing well. I mean, I got a plaque for it. I mean, I think it made about $750,000 or something. But I went to jail, so I didn't get a lot of my money got seized and everything. But I think that was my biggest break when I got that deal, because then now I'm open to do whatever I want.
Oh, do you think that's played a role in you getting in trouble? Like that you were that close to putting Utah in a real industry position?
I think it did. I mean, for the local authorities here, they're not used to that. So, I think that put the crosshairs on me, because this is the time when the hip hop police was coined. You know what I mean?
That's huge.
The local authorities and federal authorities across the nation were prosecuting rappers and moguls and record companies.
Facts.
So you see some local authorities here, they see this happening here. They get a hard on for me because they're like, oh, we can make a name out of this. You know what I mean?
Like hip hop police Utah.
Exactly. So I think that put the crosshairs on me.
Did that type of stuff come up in your case? Not to jump forward and everything. So did that type of stuff come up in your case that like you were going to studios and you were hanging with different artists and stuff?
It did.
Like
I mean, they tied me to every gang of every rapper I worked with. I was a Crip, I was a Blood, I was this, I was a Bay Area, whatever a Bay Area Crip is. That don't even exist. They were saying that at trial, so they used all the East Side logos from Snoop's label. They used all these different, the Outlaws, all these different, symbols saying this was a gang I was affiliated with. They used the lyrics against me, everything hip hop related. They did that to scare the jury.
That makes sense. So how long did you have your run before they hooked you in?
I had a good run. I think all the way till 2002. I started in the mid '90s, so
you got a good run.
But I was just getting in the game. It took that long to get in, to get solidified where I can actually have a deal. I can go produce whoever I want, and I had the budget, and I had the the network. We had everyone from we had Eminem's contact. I wouldn't work with D12. Met with Bizarre at his hotel, and we were just getting ready to do a song with Eminem. I got back from there, and that's when everything kicked off.
That's homegrown Utah business stuff.
Yeah.
Like where you're from here, born and raised.
Born and raised.
Dope. And what part of Utah?
I was all over. I was in Salt Lake City, West Valley, Midvale. When you're in housing projects, they bounce you around.
Okay, so you came up from the housing projects. Yeah. Okay, man, that's dope. That's real hip hop, man. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that about you. They know you just for like the 55 years, Like not saying that you didn't do crazy, because I seen mad interviews about the hip hop part. But most people, when I talk to them about Weldon, they say, "Oh, 55 years," and So how
that's my nickname.
I could tell, man. I could tell. A lot of people always go straight to that. So I wanted to make sure that, because we started this platform to give people like you, you know what I mean, that time to get on here and spit your piece, you know what I mean, and relax and talk to the culture. This is a culture-based podcast, you feel me? This isn't CNN. I know how you get down, man. You on national broadcasters and live, and what were you just doing? Some prison reform stuff, right?
Yeah, we're just we've been advocating for what's called the First Step Act, and it would fix the statute that got me 55 years.
Okay.
I know we're jumping ahead, but this bill, it gets rid of 3 strikes for drug offenders in the federal system.
Yeah, we need to get rid of that.
It expands good time. It does a lot of things. It's the biggest reform we've had since like 1970.
Okay.
So it's historic, and we've been working with everyone from Kim Kardashian to Senator Mike Lee to the White House. I went to the White House for a prison reform summit, and I even met Jeff Sessions, got a selfie with him and some video, and he's completely the opposite of everything we're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we was in there. President Trump gave us a platform. He let us there was like 30 of us who had been to the feds. Sitting in the White House, mingling with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, and so it was a crazy experience. I'm sitting there like it was surreal, felt like a dream.
That's crazy.
So we're working with all the movie producers, all these people that have come together for this cause, and we put them all together, and we're likely to see some reform in probably a week.
Okay, so you guys are getting this bill signed immediately,
and it's historic.
And you just got back right from DC.
Yep.
Oh, so this is current, very current.
Yeah, I'll probably be back there in like a week.
Oh man, I bet it has to be crazy to go from sitting in prison, with the big 55 over your head, to now being out doing small podcasts and hanging, and I know you got your sons and just family. So how does that feel, man? Like without going all crazy, like how did that feel coming out and knowing that you're gonna get back to the bag?
Like how I got out was crazy because we filed for a petition to President Obama.
Okay.
We had everyone supporting my petition. We had Alicia Keys promoting my petition on her website. We had, the lady from Titanic, Bonnie Raitt, Grammy award-winning musician. We had a lot of people. Senator Mike Lee, Rand Paul, Cory Booker, all these people advocating for my release, and nothing was happening. So the Koch brothers actually picked up my cause, which was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
The who?
Koch brothers.
The Koch brothers, like
they're
Coca-Cola?
Like KOCH. They're the sixth richest men in the world.
Oh my God!
The the liberals on the left think they're like the boogeyman. You know what I mean? They're right-wing conservative donors, but they got in the criminal justice space.
Damn.
And they're worth like 48 million apiece. Wow. 48 billion. Sorry. 48 billion.
Put some respect on the billion.
Six richest men in the world, right? So when they picked up my cause, I was like, whoa. I never thought they would support someone like me, but they joined that with Mike Lee and all these celebrities and people that fight to get me out. Oh. We put enough pressure on me, and I got word I might be getting out. And then one day they told me to roll up and like you're out of here, and it was just dreamy from that day on. And I had never stopped. Like the day I got out, I hit the ground running. I've been all over the country, traveling, making documentaries, doing everything, being on all these news programs, going to the White House, going to meet with members of Congress.
Oh. That's crazy.
Now we're accomplishing something that we've been fighting for since 2004.
Because that's when you got locked up, 2004. So you were like, tell what was going through your head when you got locked up and you seen the evidence against you? What was that?
Well, the evidence against me was bullshit.
Okay.
It was just an informant's word. It was just an informant's word. They set me up. They knew I was doing music. I was about to blow up. They sent this informant on me. Mm-hmm. He set me up with some weed sales. They couldn't get anything else off me. After I told them quit calling me, I'm getting checks for my Weed from the LBC album, my Mac Dre album, getting like 30, 40 G's a month. Right. It's going good. I'm saying, stop calling me. They're like, and I said, I'm done. So 6 months after I sold them the weed, they went and amended the police reports to include now, he saw a gun during each of the transactions. That takes my case from probation, state level, to federal, facing 55 to 105 years.
Damn.
So the evidence didn't scare me, but what scared me was the government's resilience and the government's insistence that I spend the rest of my life in prison. And this is the federal government, not the state.
Yeah,
there's no parole. There's no chance. I didn't understand this because I never had the interaction with the federal system.
What is it, like 98%?
It's 85, but when you're doing 50 years, that's still 47 years, so it's really nothing. So, the evidence, wasn't really scaring me. It was the government's, insistence that I spend the rest of my life in prison. Right. Like, they did not want to let me out. There was, no way. So that's what worried me. And then when I went to trial and the jury believed the informant, I was convicted, and I was standing before my judge on sentencing.
So you took it to trial. You were like, this is some bullshit. Yeah. I got lawyers. I got the best lawyers, probably, I suppose. And was Snoop Dogg in your case, or how did that?
Yeah, there was. The government subpoenaed a bunch of rappers, tried to get rappers to testify. No one showed up. Ain't no one gonna do that. You know what I mean? So Badass, he came to testify on my behalf as a character witness. So that was
as a friend.
And it was funny too, because he had the courtroom rolling. They tried to flip him up, but but at sentencing after trial, when I knew I was getting the 55 years, that was something I never thought could happen in America.
Tough.
And when he actually said it, I went completely numb. But at the end of his sentence, after he said that, he said, "I call on the president to commute your sentence." So that is what stopped me from losing my mind.
From the gate. Who was in the office? Bush?
Bush, yes. I knew he wouldn't have commuted my sentence, but my case was going to be on appeal for some years, so I knew it would have to be the next president, and I was hoping, it would have been a Democrat, which ended up happening. Obama won. He was a good president. He was late to jump into the space, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but he did a lot. So happy for what he did. And the policies that he enacted led to end up leading to my release.
Yeah, because when I heard about Obama pardoning, I was like, wow. I was like, damn, dreams do come true. Because I voted for Obama too, man. So I was, because my birthday is November 4th, so I'm right there every time, you know what I mean? So I was honored to be able to say I seen Obama, a black president that my grandma, great-grandma, they probably never even, passed their mind to ever say they're going to see a black president.
It was awesome. In prison, when we seen them get elected, like, dudes, grown men were
tearing
up.
Oh, they were tearing up.
Tears were coming. They're looking like, what's up, blood? Like, they're crying a tear like that. What's up, homie? I'm just like, oh, man, we all don't worry, we all got tears right now.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people felt like the gates were just going to come down when he was elected. It didn't happen that way. Just the nature of politics prevented that from happening.
But you've seen a change. And
we did see some change.
Hope.
He did some good,
Hope.
And he helped thousands of people. And the policies that he changed in the Department of Justice, eventually was the reason why I'm out now.
Yeah, so, I was going to say that.
It was amazing. And, I wish he could have got a third term.
So, I know, right? Yeah, a lot of people, I hear that a lot. So do you think with the pardon was it like a draw or a pick of the hat? How do you feel? Like, do you think that they really sat down and talked to Obama and said, how does that work?
This is what happens. You file for a pardon, right? Or commutation in a sense. You file it to the Department of Justice.
Okay.
It's the Office of Pardon Attorney. Now, the problem is the Department of Justice are the ones that prosecuted you. So you're asking them to look at their own cases, to look for their own mistakes. They don't like doing that, so they rarely grant it.
Right.
But the DOJ was ordered by the president and the attorney general to look into these cases and give them, he wanted to do a couple thousand.
So they did a handful, the thousands.
I think it was like 1,700, so that's a lot more than any other president.
Yeah, no,
I think since the 50s.
And were they all like petty misdemeanor?
No, they were like mostly drug offenders. Some people had guns even. Like there was some serious ones, but that wasn't the standard for reviewing these cases. Was based on the person's prior, how they've conducted themselves in prison, and what the sentence they would have gotten today. Like if they've been prosecuted today, would their sentence be lower? And if it would be lower, then we'll grant them clemency.
Right. That's dope.
My case is a little different. It would have been lower, but I had my judge saying if I had the power, I would have given him a sentence where he would have been out. Like when I filed in 2012, I think he sent a letter in 2016. He said had I had the power to give him a just sentence, he would be free right now.
Yeah, the judge was riding for you, man.
Yeah, he even quit over it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he's a lifetime federal judge with a salary of like $180,000, $200,000 a year.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So he quit over that. So I think
he was riding for you, man.
Yeah.
You and your sister too.
Yeah.
Your sister, man. I seen that. I was proud. I was like, okay, so. One thing about Weldon is he's turning over rocks that people have no idea, you know what I mean? From the music to your 55 years over your head, you know what I'm saying?
And Senator Mike Lee, right?
Okay.
He was actually a prosecutor in the office while I was being prosecuted, which is ironic.
Yeah.
But he didn't agree with my sentence. So when he got out and ran for the Senate, he said, this is something I want to fix. And he's been using my case to basically push for this bill. Because under this bill, the feds couldn't have threatened me with 55 or 100 years.
Yeah.
I probably would have got a couple years and that's it. So, I've been kind of the poster child for this bill.
And man, you have to be honored to do, be in the position that you're in.
Especially with someone that, Senator Mike Lee, he's, he actually treats me as a friend. He sends me messages on Messenger and we talk all the time. So he treats me like a friend, and that's, that's kind of changed my outlook on things.
That's hard, man. I think a lot of people, especially the youth, you know what I mean? I think the youth will most definitely be able to look into you, do your research, and learn a lot. You know what I mean? Because as I said, I was a kid when you got in trouble and everything, but I looked up to you, dog. Like, there's only a couple people that I could say. It was like you were one of them, because I'm like, damn. This dude just had multiple CDs. I thought they went platinum, we're just young.
They did sell a lot. I mean, I don't know how many they sold because, I went to prison and other people took over, and then they kind of, kept everything. Like, people screwed me over and went to jail. You know, a lot of my record sales, you know, the way things went down when I was in jail, it was fucked up. So I don't even really know the true count of how much we did sell, but I know it sold a lot.
Dope. I bet if you go back and you do your, like, you know, look over the numbers and everything, you're up there with everybody else. You went platinum, man. You know what I mean? And I always wondered that. That's why I asked the question here tonight. Is like, how did you feel about that? Because I always like, if he would have popped, you're like, oh, I don't want to say a Suge Knight, because I don't think you were like trying to, you know, be like move like Suge Knight or nothing. But that's the statue of. I look at you, man, like you have put in a lot of work, and I think the youth needs to know that. You know what I'm saying?
And if it wasn't for my case, this bridge to Salt Lake would have been completed, because, you know, I just released the album with Snoop. You know, he's on the cover of my album. We got a movie coming out where I brought the dog pound out here. We filmed out here. I still got the footage to some of that. We got dads out here smoking, representing Salt Lake. I got him to shout out Salt Lake in songs. And I just signed Napoleon of the Tupac Outlaws. You know, I signed some Badass from the Dog Pound. We signed Dante. So I got this movie coming out. You know, we're repping everything. We've got Salt Lake in it. It's part of everything I'm doing. And things were just going. You know, we were getting ready to do a song with Eminem. You know, we had...
It would have been over.
It was over. I just went on tour with Snoop, and we were there with Jay-Z. And we were getting connections to everybody.
Crazy.
There was no one we didn't have access to. You know, we had the budget, we had the network, and they just snatched me up at the worst time ever. Man,
I know, and it's like people talk a good game, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hear about people like, oh, I'm putting on for the lake, I'm putting on for the city. I said, you're up there with Larry H. Miller, bro. You are. You know, if there's a Mount Rushmore of hip hop, anybody, you are up there for sure. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I as I said, I'm honored to have you come down and do this with us. It's the ClothTalk podcast. We started this from the bottom. You know, you see our setup. Yeah. This is my man Salon. This is where hair gets done. This is where get your line up, get your fade right. You know what I mean? And it's just love, you know. So I appreciate you coming down here. Is there any last words that you would want to get out to the public and pop?
Nah, man, just tell social media, everyone to stay tuned, man. We got, you know, some projects coming up. Got my documentary. Okay. It's co-produced by Mark Wahlberg's production company. Okay. Unrealistic Ideas.
Nice.
There's going to be a soundtrack to that follows. We're going to have a docu-series that comes after that. Starting my own nonprofit organization to work on cannabis reform. Okay. Nationwide. Got a lot of things coming in the works.
Dope. So my bad to go back.
No, go ahead.
But so when you said that they have a prop. What was you telling me earlier? You're doing a bill in D.C. What's that bill about?
Oh, the bill's for criminal justice reform.
Okay, that's for criminal justice.
Next, we're going to be pushing cannabis reform.
Oh, federally. Okay, because we talked about that. So can you give us a little rundown on that?
Okay, well, there's something called the States Act.
Okay.
And it's being pushed by the Republican senator of Colorado. And basically, it's going to lift the federal ban on cannabis. So any state that has any marijuana laws on the books, they're federally legal as well. You can use the mailing system, the banking system. Basically, it'll remove it from, you know, the federal criminal code.
Dope. And that's really all it is, because like
once they do that, it's over. Because you know, I'm a states' rights person, and I'm also against the criminalization of cannabis. You know what I'm saying? Cannabis is safer than what you just took a drink of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the people shouldn't be going to jail for it.
Yeah. And we drink people drink and go crazy, and people drink all the time. We drink responsibly. You know what I'm saying, at this podcast.
And cannabis criminalization mostly targets minorities.
Exactly.
Because it gives police
a reason,
the authority to say, I smell marijuana, let me search your car. They use that as justification all the time when they don't even smell
One time a cop told me he seen a pipe in my door. I said, come on. I kept the pipe in the door, and he looked. I was like, come on. I've been pulled up this time saying,
I smell marijuana, let me search your car. And they don't find that. They're like, you must have smoked it earlier. Yeah. Like, fool, I don't smoke weed.
Yeah, especially now. You're like, nigga, what are you doing? But so do they bother you? You feel like, or do you just...
I haven't been messed with at all.
Dope. Because you're pardoned. You're Obama stamp.
They better not mess with me too, because back then I wasn't really connected.
So did you get a lawsuit? There's nothing?
Nothing. There's nothing. There's
nothing that you can get. Just your freedom.
That's it. I got to take my freedom and be happy with it.
That's good enough at this point, right?
Yeah.
You clearly did way more than enough time,
Way more. I should have only done like probation or 6 months at the most.
Damn.
Under state law, that's what I would have gotten.
Wow.
And even my prosecutor's boss acknowledged that later on, that I would have probably gotten 6 months.
That's crazy, man. Like, that is ridiculous. And You have some big players behind you, man. So, you know, do you think you're going to meet Meek Mill over this reform?
The organization I work with, Cut 50, actually works directly with Meek Mill.
Dope.
So we'll probably at one point get him involved in our documentary, as well as Common.
Okay.
My buddy Scott Budnick, he produced the Hangover movies, and he works closely with Common and John Legend.
Yeah.
And John Legend and Common are huge on criminal justice.
They
reform.
are, yeah.
They go to prisons.
Yeah.
Common goes and raps and does concerts at prisons.
Yeah.
So
All
it's
the
like,
time, yeah.
so we have to have them a part of this project because
Yeah.
they're exactly what we're
want
doing.
to do. Yeah. And what you have done, clearly, you've done the time. You've
Yep. And recently, I don't know if you've seen it, we just submitted a letter to Congress, and me and Van Jones' organization, Cut 50, garnered a bunch of celebrity support. We got Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, Chelsea Handler, Mark Cuban, just me, Napoleon from the Outlaws, a couple of my friends that produce movies. One Scott Budnick, and the other one is Brad Furman. He did like Infiltrator and the new Johnny Depp movie coming out. So we got all these celebrities to sign a letter to Congress to support this bill.
So what's going to happen?
I'm pretty sure.
Especially with Trump in there, he's a celebrity himself.
And Trump said he's going to sign it.
He's going to sign it. So. Yeah. One thing about Trump, because we're 50-50, you know, over here. Like, we don't like Trump's antics, but we do understand Trump is pushing an agenda of his own. He's making.
He said
changes.
he's going to legalize cannabis.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
he's making changes.
Promise,
we didn't start this podcast to be like, oh, Trump. No. We're hip hoppers. We're still going to be able to be free thinkers and you know and talk that shit. This is a cloth talk. You know what I mean?
I don't care about what he does. If you gonna do something good,
right?
I'll accept it.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean I
Especially
support
when
everything
it helps
else you do.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it helps the growth of what I'm doing and what I believe in. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Even if his intentions aren't good, if you're gonna reform the system that's gonna help people like me, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do it. You know, like Obama, like pardoned you already. You know, like that probably was like, what the fuck? Like, this nigga just really signed the bill.
Yeah,
you know?
he did a lot. Obama did a lot. I mean,
and did you meet Obama?
No, I want to though.
Okay, Obama's not okay. So did you get to go to the White House after, or they just let you out,
I went to the
let
White
you
House
breathe
under Trump?
Under Trump.
Yeah,
okay.
I was at the White House with
That's
Jared
good.
Kushner and Ivanka Trump, and
so
President Trump was there, but.
And did you just barely go to the White House when you were just in DC this time? Oh, it was in the summertime? Yeah. Oh, dope. And you still do hip hop conventions, huh? I seen you with Snoop.
With
Where
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest.
I brought Snoop Dogg and the Koch brothers together for a criminal justice panel.
That's fucking gangster.
Because that's how you got to make change. You got to get the people together who agree on one.
Oh, you put Snoop and the Koch brothers together?
Yep.
Wow.
And everyone went crazy, like, whoa. Because
So
this
you're
is right
back.
when Snoop did the video where he put the fake gun to Trump's head.
I remember that. Yeah,
And
I remember that.
So the Koch brothers, they mostly do Republican,
Okay.
stuff. So they were getting calls from Republicans saying, "Don't mess with Snoop, don't go there."
Yeah, he's wild.
But they're like, no. They said, you know what? We may not support him on that, but we support
On
him on
this.
criminal justice reform. We're going to work with them.
Damn. Could you ever imagine that you were that like big? Like, did you always know that you were gonna do something big, but not like?
I felt it, but I just didn't know.
You didn't know that it was gonna be like to this degree, because I
Yeah.
feel like you moved a lot of mountains that like just seem so almost unreal. And when I tell people like about you and your story and like that, me and you kind of have a good relationship throughout the whole time. Once you got out, I reached out to you, and I told you, hey man, wham, we're gonna work soon. I don't know when. And you were like, well, I got the documentary. Send me some producers. I got you some local producers, and that's what I do. That's what I do. And
I still want some, so I mean, we'll get to that point. So.
Yeah, no,
I've always been trying to give people opportunities from here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just up to them to take it. You know what I mean? I've
So
always, from the gate, even my beginning of my career, I always tried to involve people that were from here. That were
local, because you're local, and it just makes sense. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. That's why we're drinking all local. I'm drinking, and my staff is drinking. This is a different one. We usually take shots and talk the bullshit, but this was a real. I had to get my CNN on. Because I was like, this is a.
You got your Van Jones on.
Van Jones. Okay, well, I'm more like Dick Gregory.
Okay. Van Jones, my man, knows how to say.
Oh, Van. Okay, well, hey, shout out to Van.
He's one of the most articulate speakers on this too. So
lit, and you met a lot of like different players in the game so far since you've been out. How long have you been out?
2.5 years.
Damn, it's only been 2 years, huh?
Yeah.
And you've done all this. That has to be wonderful. When you wake up, you think I was locked up 55 years over my head, and now I'm going to the Trump White House administrative party.
I was gonna get out at
And Obama
I was
party.
gonna get out at 78 years old.
Wow, 78. Yeah. You would have still turned up though. I know it.
I don't think I would have survived it.
Do you not think that
they got in there?
The healthcare?
It's horrible.
Is that what the prison? Is that what the prison reform is about? Like getting.
No, we're just trying to get people out before they die of old age.
Okay.
We're just trying to get them out so they don't have to die of old age.
Right. No, that makes sense. So pretty much the prison reform is to get people out like you that are serving time for
or to stop them from going in the first place. We don't want,
that's what
like this bill, had it been passed back then, they wouldn't have been able to threaten me with 100 years. They would have had to give me just a normal plea offer like everyone else gets. Mm-hmm. There were people in a related case had the same charges as me. They offered them 5 years each. And same charges. Actually, they were repeat offenders. And their charges were even worse than mine.
And you see them come in and out.
They were right there in the same case. They offered 5. They offered me 15. I'm like, it's because I'm me. You know what I'm saying? They want to make an example out of me.
Right. You're popping. You're a celebrity.
So they wanted to make an example.
And they just threw you out there. They didn't know. Did you do like Gen Pop? Is that what this like? You went and did hard time. It's not like they're saying like Bill Cosby. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I went to a high security prison in Southern California.
Oh, you were in Southern California?
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy, man.
I was in there rapping Forte.
Rapping Forte? That's the homie.
I was in the same unit as Mac Dre.
You was in the same unit? Because I heard that before, that you was in the same unit with Mac Dre. That's crazy.
That's the unit that he was in. And he ended up dying. Mac Dre died. I was still in the county waiting to go to prison. And I heard the news and I was sick.
Wow. Because that's your boy.
Yeah, Mac Dre.
Did you see him in there?
No, I'm saying there was the unit that Mac Dre did his time in. I ended up going to that unit.
Oh, okay.
Dudes in there were homies. There was Barry, a big Barry.
A lot of them.
So like, hey, you're Mac Dre's homie? They're like, oh, this is the unit he was in. I was like, really?
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I know you were probably like, okay, when is this going to end? It was just like a roller coaster that just didn't seem.
It was a long time, man. I thought I kept having hope, and then it just got crushed.
Just every time, man.
Every time I had an appeal or opportunity to get out, I got denied.
Because you did 13 and a half, right?
No, just under 13. It's like 12 years, 10 months.
Wow, for some damn weed.
When
everybody's everybody's propping everything.
Now I'd be considered an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so what do you do? Because you know the market.
I'm a felon now. I'm a felon right now. But other people with cannabis, even with guns, are entrepreneurs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this that ClothTalk. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense because now you would be able to go contact Snoop, go contact Mark Cuban, these figures, and instantly be multi. And now that you have a felony, they probably don't want to work with you, or they can't.
Well, the industry in Utah precludes felons from being in the industry. In California, they're changing that. They're making sure that minorities and those that have a felony in the record can actually get in the industry. And we're getting in the industry. We're doing it regardless of the Utah law. We're getting in the industry.
Dope. That's dope. And then do you see that like soon? Like that Utah will be able to smoke.
Well, we're gonna work. Yeah.
Cause we be asking all the.
We're working to reform the laws here as well to change it. Cause
do you think they will? Well, cause it's like you were like the face of, Prop 2 that was just happening during this election type thing. To me, I don't know. I might be wrong, but I felt like it was like that's Weldon's. Like that's. Well,
some people are using my story to say we need to do something about this, but what we end up with after Prop 2, the compromise, it's not the best bill, it's not the worst. If there was no compromise, there would be no flour, no access to flour. The elements list would be so small. So I think we still got to win, and we just need to keep chipping away and improving it.
Dope.
And if Trump lists the federal ban, then the hell with the state.
Oh yeah, because the federal is what's coming in and hammering people.
That's what's limiting states is the federal ban.
Hell yeah, man. Well, shit, man. Hey, all right, we gonna wrap it up, man. Hey, you did, man. Thank you for all this ClothTalk, man. I appreciate it, homie. Like real talk, man. Like as I said, I'm honored, man. So we gonna get some music from you. Get this new music. I hope to have something on the the documentary. And let's keep it popping, man. So Salt Lake City, you got it right here. ClothTalk. They ain't hearing it like this, boy.
I just hit a grand slam, different color beat, yeah. Running around my cooking hand. When I look in the mirror, I see the motherfucking man.